What up, y'all? Once again, it's me, Chris, coming at you with another video. This is it's called the MMA Compass, I guess. Basically, what it is it's an idea that Humble King 718 came up with, and I think a guy named Euphoria on here as well, where basically they talk about a subject or a topic, and other people will respond to it with I guess video responses is the ideal case. And it's kind of just, get different people's opinions on one subject or topic. This topic is the top 3 fighters pound for pound currently in MMA. And like I said, this is a response to Humble King 718's video. There's a lot of points that he made that I have, in regards to fighters, that I have low contention with, or disagreement with, I should say. But I'm not really going to get into that because I don't think any two people are going to agree on who's the best pound for pound fighter or the top 3 and why. So, I'm just going to talk about the subject itself. First off, I don't think one of the reasons why a lot of people have different opinions, other than the fact that that's just how people are in general, is because there's not really a set criteria for pound. Some people say it's the best fighter currently. Other people say maybe the fighter who has the best resume. Or other people would like to say, and this is usually the theory I prescribe to, is that if all these fighters were in the same weight class, somehow, I mean, that's not a possibility, but if it was, who would win? Who would be the best fighter? So, that being said, I'm going to talk about the top 3 pound for pound fighters out currently right now. And this isn't necessarily in the order that I have them, but first up, Anderson Silva, 23-4. He's coming off, that's his record. He's coming off the win over Patrick Cote. His recent wins are also over James Irvin at light heavyweight. Dan Henderson beat Rich Franklin twice, beat Nathan Marquardt, beat Travis Lutter, and beat Chris Lieben. He also has a few losses. His last loss was way back in 2006 on a DQ loss to Yushin Okami. He's also got losses to Chonen and Takase by submission. I think aside from Dana White telling everybody he is, I think that the reason everyone thinks Anderson Silva, that does believe he's the best pound for pound fighter, is not only the fact that he's dominating, or that he's been winning all these fights since entering the octagon, but the manner in which he's doing it. He's been dominating all of his opponents, pretty much one-sided fights. And granted, Dan Henderson did have him down, as did Travis Lutter, but neither of them were really effective enough to stake claim to even coming close to winning that fight, or their fights with him. Plus the fact that Anderson's the champ, and he did go up to 205 and fought Irvin. Obviously looked impressive there with pretty much a no contest. Also, like I said, just the way he's beating guys, he's dominating them. It doesn't look like the guy can be beat. Granted, his win over Cote was not that impressive. It ended up being a TKO because Cote got hurt. But up until that point, Anderson didn't look as his usual self. But I don't know if that was more what Cote was doing or what Anderson wasn't doing. So, next up, Fedor Emelianenko, record 28-1. He's coming off the Tim Sylvia win. His most recent wins aside from that are over Hongman Choi, Matt Lindland, Mark Hunt, Mark Coleman. He's also got significant wins over Mirko Krokop and Antonio Rodrigo Nogueira twice, who is the current UFC heavyweight champion, or interim heavyweight UFC champion, I should say. He only has one loss, which is Tsuyoki Kosaka, TK, and that loss was by a cut, which if you go watch it on YouTube, it was actually an illegal elbow. Elbows weren't allowed in, I believe, rings that the organization was, and he got caught with an elbow basically on one of the first 2 punches thrown, cut him, the fight was stopped. So aside from that, he's never lost, and he did avenge that loss, as a matter of fact. So basically the guy is pretty much undefeated. Looked great in the Sylvia fight, hurt Tim standing, got him on the ground, submitted him in no time. I don't know what else to say, really. Like I said, he's undefeated, doesn't really have a lot of flaws in his game, if any. He did get stunned by Kazuyuki Fujita in their fight, survived, came back and beat Fujita within the next, I think, 60 to 90 seconds with a vicious rear naked choke. So, Fedor's undefeated. Like I said, I don't think he has any flaws, and personally, I think he probably is the best fighter in the world, but once again, that's just my opinion. Next up, we have GSP, record 17-2. He's coming off the win over John Fitch, also has recent wins over Matt Serra, Matt Hughes, who he beat twice, Josh Koscheck, BJ Penn, Sean Shirk, and Frank Trade, which is a pretty stacked resume in my opinion. Those are pretty much all the best fighters in his division, and he's beaten them all. He does have losses to Matt Serra and Matt Hughes, but he came back and beat those guys, and beat them decisively, which I think makes a good state for his claim, if you believe that he is the pound-for-pound best fighter right now. GSP's pretty much been dominating everyone. He's looked dominant in his wins, especially over guys like Fitch and Matt Serra, and the Hughes matches and the Koscheck. He's got a fight coming up with BJ Penn in January. Well, that's what everyone's saying. He said he hasn't signed the bout agreement yet, but it's believed he'll be fighting BJ Penn in January. That fight's going to pretty much help establish where he is. If BJ wins that fight by chance, or not by chance, but happens to win that fight, I think you could make a case for him as being the number one pound-for-pound fighter. I believe everyone probably already has him in their top 5, as they should. If he does win that, I mean, he'll be the champion at 155, 175, and 170 pounds. And what better way to say your best pound-for-pound fighter than to be the champion of 2 weight classes? However, if GSP wins that fight, I think it will depend on how he looks in the fight. If he's very impressive in victory, then I think that he has a good stake to claim best pound-for-pound fighter. I mean, not that he's claiming it. None of these guys are claiming it, as a matter of fact. They're all very humble fighters. And none of them have gone out and said that they're the best pound-for-pound fighter. But I think people that believe GSP is the best pound-for-pound fighter can use a second victory over BJ, especially if impressive, to say, look, GSP's beaten all these guys, dominated them, and he beat BJ Penn, who is a fellow pound-for-pound entrant. And I would agree with them there. So in order, I'm going to go with Fedor number 1, Anderson Silva number 2, and GSP number 3. Once again, these are my opinions, and I don't think anyone's going to agree. I don't think 2 people will agree, and if they do, it won't be on the same ideas of why they think those fighters are in that order. Fedor, as I said, basically he's undefeated, and as the old adage goes, to be the man, you have to beat the man, or at least that's the way I believe it is. He's undefeated, and until someone beats him, I'm going to put him up there. Anderson, I'm going to put number 2 because of the way he's looked recently. His dominance. He hasn't beaten the fighters that have beat him in the past, such as GSP and Fedor have, but I have no doubt if he fought Ryo Chonin, Daiju Takase, again, he would dominate those guys. And I believe he will fight Okami again next year, and I do expect him to win that fight. Let's talk about these guys' upcoming fights. I don't know who Anderson's fighting next. I do think it'll be at light heavyweight, though, so we'll have to see how he looks, how he responds after his not lackluster performance, but not his up to normal standard performance against Cote. Fedor's got a fight scheduled against Arlovsky in January. I expect him to win that fight. Arlovsky was in a little bit of a disadvantageous position against Roy Nelson on his back. I think Fedor's going to do the same, but more effectively. As I said, GSP's got the fight against Penn. That'll do a lot to establish where GSP stands on this list as well, or at least where people think he does. So, those are my opinions on the top pound-for-pound fighters in the world. Top 3 pound-for-pound fighters in the world and why I think they are. Once again, like I said, I don't expect anyone to agree with me. Some people may not. It's all a matter of opinion. It's all subjective, this whole pound-for-pound idea. There's no way we're ever going to establish who is the number 1, 2, or 3, but it's a fun topic to broach because everyone usually does have different opinions and why. So, that's it for now. Feel free to drop a video response if you want to keep this MMA Compass idea going, or just leave a comment whether you agree or disagree. Until next time, I am out of here. Bye.